Guys, I get the question a lot, what is the best exercise to do? And I have always said that the best exercise is learning to use the muscles that lengthen your spine, keep you erect throughout the day, because you're doing it 24/7 then. You're working on it all the time. Your chiropractor's got 5 minutes with you, or you spend an hour in the gym, at best, once a day. So working on those weak core muscles that lengthen our spine all day long can really help you the best. It's the best exercise I can think of. But the problem we run into is that we don't know how to activate those muscles, and I have trouble teaching people how to activate them. And the issue there is an imbalance of muscular tissue, and that creates distortions in the ligamentous tissue, and we recognize that as arthritis. So think about, I talk about this seesaw relationship in other videos, but let's approach it a different way. So the seesaw is your life, and there's two animals on here. Let's say they're both elephants for this scenario. And what I do as a chiropractor is I make sure that the seesaw doesn't get stuck in the mud, or it doesn't get all rusty. It needs like a little oil. I come in there and I fix it. I get it moving again. And what happens with the muscular imbalances, we start feeding one of these elephants, and then we forget to feed the other elephant. So the other elephant gets skinny and thin and weak, and the other one gets big and fat. So there's an imbalance there. And you come in to see me, and you're like, fix this for me. I'm like, I can't. There's a muscular imbalance issue. And they're like, just fix it. I'm like, okay. So I push the weak elephant's side down, and it comes right back up. Or maybe that they're close, there's a slight imbalance, and it comes back slowly over time, a couple weeks, couple months, it's back to where it was. And sometimes it's right away, and sometimes that elephant's just so big I can't even get that other elephant down, no matter how much I try and how much I work on. So we have to create some muscular balance to rebalance the curvatures in our spine to allow our adjustments to hold, so our nervous system doesn't have stress, and so we don't get injured as easily, and there's not that continual stress on our nervous system, because when there's stress on the nerves, there's stress on everything, organs, heart, and our muscular. Alright, so we can easily see the abnormal curvature here, the forward head, the hump in the back, the increased lordosis in the lower back, and we think, oh, all I gotta do is stand up straight to reduce this, and our mind has been in this state so long that we're not actually standing up straight anymore. The muscles have become too deformed, the ligaments have become too rigid, and if you put your back to a wall, you can see easily that it's hard to get your head and your low back both flat to that wall, showing you that you're dealing with something that's been there for a long time and has become a very bad habit. So what is the best exercise to retrain your body, retrain your mind, to relearn how to hold yourself properly? Because this, you can easily see how there's strain on that nervous system. You're probably wondering, how in the world does the nervous system operate properly with this much stress on it? How does that nerve manage to go through there? How do those nerve roots manage to come out without getting impingement? It's a miracle that this person will be without pain. It just takes a little bit for injury to happen in this state. It just takes a little bit for nerve impingement to happen in this state. Discs to blow, muscles to sprain, joints to sprain, picking up pencils, doing a light 5 minutes worth of shoveling in the snow. You guys know we just had a storm. So how do we correct this, bring stability to our spine so those injuries don't happen, that we don't have to see the chiropractor 3-4 times a week? What do we do? Now, I've said in the past that it's my job on the left here to fix the high shoulder, the high hip, or the head that's tilted to the side. But even those things will stay better. They'll stay in place once we have more balance in the muscular system, where those curves, those increases of those curves in that forward head translation, or that hyperlordosis, or that forward pelvic sway are removed. That spine will be stable, and also those things we see as far as the head being tilted to the side, the shoulder being higher, will begin to be eliminated as well, because it's all about the spine. You can't have one thing affected in the spine without having some other curve being affected, whether it be forward or side to side. So unfortunately, the best exercise I have found, and the most useful one I have found to help me correct my posture, is also a very tough one. It's called the baby roll. And it combines a couple different elements of a couple different exercises, one being the Superman and the other being the hollow body hold. What you're trying to achieve with the baby roll is total activation of the core. It uses the abs, your neck flexors, your rhomboids, and your glutes to roll you from one direction to the other. And once you're on your stomach, you're looking in the direction you're rolling, so it can help release those tight muscles that cause that rounding at the base of your neck. And since this is such a tough move, even though it looks simple, what you can do is break it up into simpler movements so you can at first learn how to achieve the baby roll. So what you want is, when you're laying on their back, is to flatten your low back to the ground before you even raise your arms or your legs. You want them over your head, you want your elbows straight as you can get them. And then once your abs are really tight and your low back is flat to the ground, as much as you can get, it's not saying that you're going to do it right away. You're just going to hold that position if you can. Even that in itself is very hard. You're also forcing your head down flat to the ground. And that's rebalancing those curves, forcing them in the opposite direction, leveling yourself out. And if you have trouble with that, what you can do is you can reach your left arm over towards your right leg while resting that opposite arm and the opposite leg on the ground. We'll show that in a second here. So reaching, we call that cross crawl. This is best you can. That way you can give your other leg a rest and give yourself a break. If you can't even do that, you can just lay there. Just laying there on the floor helps reduce that bad curvature. It's not like a bed, because a bed you're going to sink into and your head's going to be propped up on a pillow, and it's actually worsening your condition in most cases. The next we got, you can do the Superman. So if you can, try to raise your arms and your legs and just raise your head down to the floor and then up again. And then when you're on the floor, you can actually push off with your forehead on the floor. And again, you can have your arms rested on the ground and then work up to holding them in the air. I know that was a bit quick and complicated, but if you want to learn how to do those moves, or that move, you can come to class. It's good because no matter what posture type you are, it's going to help correct it, because you're getting it from both different angles and you're lengthening the spine. The floor is helping you in that area. It's helping decompress, lengthen your spine. So just one more added note here is that careful getting up and down off the ground. You want to do it in a way that's not going to cause your body harm. You want to be careful getting up and down. So you want to take it slow, move into a squat, grab the floor and walk your way out. And then get yourself down that way, keeping your spine lengthened so you don't injure your spine while getting up and off the floor. And once you're here, I forgot to mention that you can, when you're bringing your head up, you also want to look to your left and your right. This is ingrained in the roll. You're always looking which way you're going to roll. But if you can't roll, you at least want to release those tight neck muscles by looking to your left, flexing, and then looking to your right, and then going back, doing one in the middle as well while you're in the Superman pose here. And then when you get done, you want to slowly walk yourself back up into the squat. Take your time with it. And if you can't do the squat, be careful about putting weight on one knee. Take it slow. Keep your spine lengthened. So raise the arms and the legs, Jen. And then bring the head down to the floor. Then I want you to look up to your right towards me. And then put it down to the floor again. And up to the left away from me. Good. And then down. And then just do as many as you can. Working the lower back, pointing the toes now. Notice the toes are the opposite now. They're pointing away from your body, where before you're pointing towards your body. So this one is working the exact opposite muscles that the other one was, bringing balance to your body. So go ahead and roll to your back. Or to look to the direction you're going to roll. Look the direction, use your core as much as you can. You're getting better with that. Good. Now you're back into the hollow body position. So when you raise the leg, make sure you point the toes towards you now. Core's tight, chin's tucked in, and you're just holding there. On an alternate one you can do, if you can't raise the legs too much, you can do one at a time. You can raise your right arm to your left leg.
You keep them up.
Yeah, try to keep your head down on the floor. Don't raise your head. So you're not going to touch it, but you're just going towards them. Yep. Perfect. Just go to where you, as far as you can raise that leg without bending the knee. And then you do switch. You do the right and left, and then right and left. Cross crawl. As long as it's the opposite, you're good. Keeping that core tight, keeping your head down on the floor. Rock and roll. So here's Jen before. Can't get her head back all the way. Lower back can't get flat to the wall. Her chin's tilted up a little bit. This is just after 2 minutes. Head's flatter to the wall, lower back's flatter to the wall. Chin is tucked better. Chin is a lot more tucked here. Head's almost to the wall, back's very flat. So you want to activate the glutes and the core at the same time to almost flatten out the lumbar back a little bit. And then do the Y for me. So that's above the head. So straight up above the head. Yeah, there you go. So you straighten the elbows. And you're trying to force these up, but you see how that curves against? That's what you got to fight against. That's that weak spine. So you should be a little bit more there. And try to bring your arms straight up over your head while I lock you. Not out to the side, up. Oh, straight up.
Straight up.
Yeah. So you're here. And you're going straight above the head. Hitting the rotator cuff. And I'm locking my butt down, flattening as best I can. It's not going to happen right away. All right, try the T. So straight across the chest. So the T is the Y and the T, elbows are straight, yeah. See how the shoulder's really raised? That's one thing to avoid. You want to try to keep them down. So it's more in your preparation than the ending motion. So I'm already raising my chest, and when I go back, I know that my shoulders are just going to stay level. I'm going to force them here, my chest to rise, and at the very end I can tuck that butt. Keep it strong in the abs and the glutes, and then you can correct your head too. If you have a mirror, you can see if one arm is higher than the other, because I know I do that too, because one is tighter. The one will raise, so you can make those little corrections as well, or you can just look. Try the W. So out, we always start out here. And then pull up, chest pop. You got a little too much slack, but you don't want the elbows going past, you want them here. So you're opening up the shoulder. That's pretty good there. And firing the core and the glutes. Get rid of that hyperextension there. That's good right there. So it's kind of like a seesaw action. You get one in place and the other one will drop. So you want to try to find a neutral place where you're hitting both. Because sometimes if you're perfect here, you'll notice that your hips are there. So I'm not saying that be perfect every time. I'm just saying find neutral ground. Make sure you're getting a little bit of both. So if you can only get here, but you're tucked there, that's fine. You'll get it eventually.
Okay.
Show me the L. So L, you're here. Pinching, don't raise the shoulders. Keep the chest up, not the shoulders. And then over the head, 90 degrees. It looks like that. You can check, make sure they're relatively 90. Don't raise the shoulders. Elbows are bent on that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Careful of your head. See how the head leads back. It's all little things to watch. I always think about tapping myself in the chin because that just raises my posture. Those are some little tricks there to help you. When you're rolling on the foam roller, if your head is forward, you're creating more of a hump. The idea is we want to flatten out the hump by raising the chest when we're rolling.
Okay.
So when I start, I'll get here, make sure I pop my chest, the same idea. So when I'm rolling, my spine is in a good position. So it's not just about the muscle too, because you don't want to be here rolling. You can do that as a little bit of a stretch, that's fine. I'll throw that in there, but then I want to counteract it by doing the opposite. And then you can go through here, lower, and then you're bent there. You still want to keep the core tight and your chest relatively up. And then you can even hyperextend the opposite, but you don't want to stay in either one position. And you want to try to keep your spine like that all the time. You don't want to be rounded like this the whole time. Makes sense?
Do I have it?
Variety is the spice of life. That's much better. Now so her chest is higher, her head is dropped just a hair, and the chin's driving down. You should feel it in the neck muscles as well as the core. If I can name two muscles that most people are weak in, it's the abs and these.
Yes.
Because it's not just the neck. Because some people throw their neck and what happens? The hips go forward. So they got to fire the core, and the hips underneath us. And some people fire the core and they're rounded, right?
Yeah.
Some people got the good core and the bad neck. So it's a combination of the two. So I see this, or I see this.
Can't roll down here, right? That's a turtle. That's a turtle.
You can roll the lower back, that's a good question, but you don't, most people don't want to be like this, right?
No.
Because usually people have too much curve there. So you want to fire the core, keep it rounded so you're flattening out the low back, and then you're rolling through there. Now I'll usually go a little left, get the muscle, those paraspinals are tight. You might pay attention, I'm like, because for me, left is much tighter, so I don't want to spend much time on the right, because I want to balance out my body. Get the left more.
Am I correct?
And that's something you can notice.
Am I correct? I'm scared.
Yeah, keep the core tight. If you're bending down, like if this is tighter, it's going to limit my motion going to the right. So I won't be able to get to my toes, but I bet I can get to my toes on the left, which is much easier. Because this one's looser. So if I'm focusing on my exercises there, I'll want to do more to the right before I do any types of exercises, because I don't want to be starting an exercise if I'm already imbalanced, because I'll further my imbalances. Makes sense? Same when you're rolling anything. Try to hit the tighter muscle more and try to have good posture. Those are the rolling tips of the day.